Hi, everyone. This practice is going to be about self-esteem. Do you notice how sometimes you just feel really good about yourself and you feel confident and you feel like you're good enough and you just feel kind of on top of the world? And other times, self-doubt creeps in and you're not so sure and you hold yourself back, even from things you could probably do. But for some reason, there's this sense of that you're not good enough and you're not worthy. So what we need is a healthy balance. Not to say we don't want to stay in the not worthy place for very long, but it's okay if we, kind of go there for a short time, because that's just the way life is. There's going to be things that come up in our life that throw things on our face that we have to deal with. But we want to spend more time in this self-esteem, which is different from ego. It's not about the ego. It's about feeling good. It's about feeling that you're good enough. And it's having that self-confidence that takes you to places that you might not otherwise think that you were worthy of going or capable of doing or whatever else that might be. So, what I would like you to have for this practice is a yoga blanket or a towel or a pillow, something that you can roll up to support yourself, and we're going to lie on that as, to kind of invite invite this feeling of self-confidence and openness. Other than that, just bring a willingness to accept yourself as you are and accept yourself as being good enough. Please close your eyes and just take a few breaths here with your eyes closed to clear out your mind, to help you relax, and to bring your attention to this present moment. Notice how it feels to sit here with your breath. Notice the quality of your breath. And if it feels like it's moving in and out easily. And gently open your eyes and grab your blanket or your pillow or whatever you've chosen. And if it's a blanket, we're going to roll it up. So yoga blankets are great because they have a nice density to them. But if you have a blanket, something like this, you want to fold it so it's in a rectangular shape and then start to roll it up. And the beauty of this blanket is that you can make the roll size as big or as small as you like. So I'm going to roll it up a little bit more than halfway. Place the blanket or whatever you have across your mat, and you want to aim to have the bottom tips of your shoulders on the mat. So not up here by the top, but lower down by the bottom. And just lie back. Bring your arms into a cactus position. And let your whole body relax. Right away, notice how your breath feels. Notice if by opening up the chest, which the blanket is helping us to do, notice if the breath comes in a little more freely. And focus on your breath in this moment. Notice if it feels a little bit different than just a minute ago when we were sitting and breathing. So you want to let yourself relax with the pull of gravity. So there's like your body's being drawn to the floor, even though the blanket is lifting you up. And yoga is a lot about dual actions. So lifting up, rooting down, expanding out from side to side, contracting inward, expanding outward. And just let your eyes softly close. Notice your shoulders. See if they feel like they're relaxing toward the floor. So we tend to hold a lot of tension in our neck and our shoulders. And especially if we lack self-esteem, we can just feel like a little worried, a little more tense. But when we're confident in ourselves and in our own innate goodness, we can kind of relax a little bit easier and just ride the the heights and the depths of life. You know, sometimes things are really, really good and sometimes they're not so good. But everything is always changing. So even if things aren't so good in the moment, eventually we can get back to that flow state of feeling really good. We're going to stay here a little bit longer so that your body has time to adjust to this position and take full advantage of your chest being wide open, your shoulders being open. This is a very different position from the position that we're typically in, with our back more rounded, our shoulders maybe hunched forward at least a little bit, and probably our head forward of the shoulders. Sitting at a desk will do that to you, as well as lack of self-confidence. So just a few more breaths here. Now let's gently roll to our side. So we can move the blanket off to the side for the moment and come right back onto our backs. And notice how this feels. Oh, it just feels so good to me. My shoulders feel relaxed, my belly's relaxed. You can straighten your legs if you would like. And just take a few breaths in this position so that you can appreciate even the little transformation that's already started to take place. And just let everything relax. Now let's bring our feet to the floor for bridge pose. So you want your feet a little wider than hip distance. Let your arms rest by your sides. Press strongly into your big toe mound and lift all 10 toes up. Spread your toes apart as much as you can. And lower your toes back down, keeping the space between your toes. So now press down into your feet. Hug your legs in towards each other and feel your hips lift and rise. And your shoulders get even more rooted into the earth. And then your exhale, let your upper back start to relax. Holding the hips up for as long as you can and just letting one vertebra at a time slowly lower to the earth. We'll do this a couple more times. So press down and feel that lift even into the back of your shoulder blades, into the upper back. And press down a little bit more into the floor and squeeze your legs in a little bit stronger, not to touch, but just to have that action of hugging in. And slowly let your shoulders relax, holding the hips up, lowering down one vertebrae at a time. And repeat that 2 more times on your own. Just taking your time to feel that edge and maybe push into it just a little bit. So you're engaging your glutes a little bit more, building a little strength as you open up through your chest. And just feel how good it feels to relax after that effort. Finding the balance between effort and ease. Last time, on your own. And when everything is settled back to the earth, hug your knees into your chest. So it's always a good idea to remember to give yourself a little hug whether it's a physical hug or a mental hug or an emotional hug, we're just honoring like that you are good enough, that you are worthy. Now let's hold the back of our legs and we're gonna rock back and forth. Nice and slow, nice and smooth. And see if you can pause when you're rocking up. You can hold the back of your legs. You can release your arms forward. And you could even try straightening your legs. And then round your back again. Roll back and up. See if you can pause and hold. And round again. Rock back up. Pausing and holding. One more time. Rock back, come on up. Hold here. And lower your feet down. Lower your feet down, bring your hands behind you, and just push your hips off the floor, coming into a squat. See if you can reach your arms forward and let your hips hang. And lift your hips up, coming into a forward fold. Step back into plank. Lower your knees down with your toes pointed, and shift your hips back to your heels. And start to lean back and let your knees come up, stretching out the top of your feet, and see if you can shift your body forward, maybe find a little balance. And lower your knees back down. Place your right hand behind your right foot and lift your hips up and forward as you reach your left arm across. And lower your hips down. Twist to the other side. Same thing. Reach your right arm across, lift your hips up nice and high. We'll do that 2 more times. Just nice, easy, swinging, stretching, lifting. Another big heart opening pose, showing a sense of self-confidence and ease and enjoyment. Good, lower down. Come onto your hands and knees. Walk your knees back a little bit and shift your hips back to your heels. Let your forehead rest on the floor. And feel your back puff up with your breath on your inhale. And that softening, that returning to earth on the exhale. So when we connect with our breath, we're connecting with our life force energy, which is so powerful and so healing. On your next inhale, round forward. And on your exhale, slide back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. One more time. Inhale forward. Exhale back. This time, stretch your hands as far forward as you can possibly reach. And we're going to come forward and come all the way into Cobra. So lower your hips down, pull your shoulders back, stretch your heart forward. And lift up your hips. Stretch back to down dog. We'll do that a couple more times. So inhale, start rounding forward, and then start to change the shape of your back into an arch as you lower your hips down and pull the shoulders back. Press your feet strongly into the earth to engage your legs so that your low back can relax and your chest can move forward. Maybe just a little bit more. One more time. Stretch back. Inhale, round forward. Open up through your heart. Big heart opening. And stretch back to child's pose. And come back to kneeling. Step your right foot forward into a low lunge. Now, if you have yoga blocks, you can use yoga blocks here, or you can place your hands on your right thigh and shift your weight forward. So your knee comes forward of your ankle and your toes, and your back hip flexors getting a pretty big stretch. And shift your weight back. You can keep your hands on your leg, or you can lower your hands to the floor or blocks. Keep shifting your weight forward and back. Nice slow motions. Next time you're forward in your low lunge, puff up into your chest. Take a big inhale and reach your arms up toward the sky and even back behind you. So your chest is lifting up and you're reaching forward through your legs. And then bring your hands back down, straighten your leg. Step into your front foot, float the back leg up, standing splits. Lower your back toes to the floor and rise up. High lunge, crescent lunge. Lower your hands back down. Step back into downward facing dog. And lower your knees to the floor. Come back to kneeling. And step the left foot forward. And sort of just shift your weight forward and back. Getting into some nice, sweet dorsiflexion of your ankle and big hamstring stretch in the back of your thighs. I'm just gliding back and forth. Next time you come forward, puff your heart up, reach your arms up, and just kind of cascade your chest toward the sky. Good. Lower your hands back down again, shift your weight back. And then come forward, step into your front foot, float your back leg up. And the standing splits. Step your right leg back, and then your left leg back, coming into plank. Bend your knees, stretch back to downward facing dog. And begin to bend one knee at a time. Stretching out through those heels, stretching out the whole back of your leg. And look towards your hands. Walk your feet forward. Lift and spread all 10 toes, keeping the spread of the toes. Sprinkle your toes back to the earth. Press into the tripod of your foot, meaning the mound of the big toe, pinky toe, center of the heel. And your next inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Just take a moment to ground and relax in your Tadasana, mountain pose. So having self-esteem is kind of like being like a mountain, being grounded, but uplifted, strong, determined, forceful, a force of nature, and a thing of beauty. On your next inhale, sweep your arms toward the sky. And then your exhale, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Inhale, lift up. Part way up with a flat back. Exhale, melt toward the floor. Place your hands down, step back into plank. Stretch from your heels out through the crown of your head, keeping those low ribs lifted. You're welcome to lower your knees down or keep the knees lifted, but start to bend your elbows, hugging your elbows towards your body. Lower all the way down, point your toes, curl up into your cobra. Nice, slow, easy cobra. And then as you exhale, lead with your heart to bow again. And then inhale, puff up, open up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Take a big breath of air here, appreciating just this heart opening that you're experiencing. And lower down, tuck your toes. Press back to your down dog. And just take a few minutes to move around in your down dog. Just take a few minutes to move around in your down dog, bending one knee at a time, lifting your hips up and back. On your next inhale, sweep your right leg toward the sky and pull your heel into your hips, pull your knee into your chest, and step your foot forward. Crescent lunge, rise up. Big heart opening here. And rotate the back heel down, opening up, warrior two. Stretch out through your fingertips, gazing over your right hand. Then inhale, reach your arms up and back, reverse your warrior. And come back through warrior two. Straighten your front leg, reach forward. Lower your hand down to a block of your leg of the floor, coming into your triangle pose. Gaze up at the sky. Then lower your top hand down, lift your back heel up, and bow over your front leg. You can play with lifting your front foot up as you lower the back heel down and shifting with your back heel up, front of your front foot down, back and forth. You can even try reaching, flattening both feet toward the floor. And then swing your leg all the way back into down dog splits. And lower your foot to the floor. On your next inhale, sweep your left leg up. Reach back through your toes and pull your heel to your hip, your knee to your chest, step your foot forward. Crescent lunge, rise up. Big lift through the heart. And open up, warrior two. Reach back, reverse your warrior. And then come back through warrior two, straighten your front leg, reach forward. Finding your triangle pose. Gaze up toward the sky. Lower your top hand down, lift your back heel up. And again, that just rocking motion, pushing off your back foot and going back and forth. And step back, downward facing dog. Now we'll do a little bit of a side plank, and we can play with wild thing if you like. So we'll do this 2 times, so you have time to practice and kind of get the feel of it, or it might be something that you already done a lot and feel pretty good about. But I think of wild thing as just kind of letting go, and to be able to let go like that, we have to have some self-esteem, right? Because a lack of confidence kind of holds us back. Self-esteem opens us up. So we're going to start in down dog. Bring your right hand toward the center of the mat. Bend your knees with your heels to the right. See if you can push your big toe mound into the floor as best you can. And then start to lift your hips up so your hips are high and your feet are stacked. Reach your left arm up and lift the hips up. And just pick your left foot up, step it behind you, open up into your wild thing. And come back into your downward facing dog. We'll do the same thing on the left side. So walk your left hand in toward the center of your mat. Bend your knees, your heels to the left. Try and push the big toe mound of the left foot into the floor and lift your hips up high. Reach your right arm up. Lift your hips as high as you can and then pick your right foot up, step it behind you, open up. Wild thing. And come back to your down dog and take a little rest in child's pose. So we're going to try this again, and I'm going to give you a little extra thing to try if you want. So come back into our down dog. Bring your right hand in a little bit toward the center of the mat. Turn your heels to the right, bend your knees. Try and plant the big toe mound into the floor as much as you can and start to lift your hips up. Reach your left arm up. And here's a little addition if you want to try it. You could bring your left leg up And then step it behind you into Wild Thing. And come back into your down dog. So for the left side, bring your left hand in a little bit. Turn your heels to the left, bend your knees, plant the left big toe mound, lift your hips up nice and high. Right arm is reaching toward the sky, and maybe you play with bringing your right leg up. And then step it behind you for your Wild Thing. And bring your right hand back down, stretch back into your down dog. Nice long stretch. Walk your feet forward and come into a little squat. Lower your hips to the floor and stretch out on your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself another little love hug. And then hold the back of your thighs, but widen your knees as wide as your ribs, and press your feet up toward the sky as much as you can. So lifting your heels away from your hips. Now, try and keep your shoulders grounded and see how high up you can reach on your legs. Maybe you can reach your feet. Maybe you need to keep your hands a little bit lower. We're coming into happy baby. And just rock back and forth. So think back to, babies, I don't think self-esteem is even an issue for them. Like they're just completely present in the moment, exploring life, this new thing that, they haven't had all the years of experience. So every moment is magical to a baby. And can we bring that magic back into our lives? At least some of it, at least part of it. Release your left foot, hug your right knee into your chest as you stretch out through your left toes. Then hook your right toes underneath the back of your left leg. You can scoot over to the right side of your mat if you want, and just twist. Bring your right knee across, then turn your head to your left. Think of twisting your upper body to the right as you twist your lower body to the left. And just relax here. Often we don't even notice how much tension we're holding because it's a habit and it seems normal. But it's not. We don't want holding tension to be normal. We want relaxed to be normal. Actually, being relaxed can give you more power than tensing up and tightening up. It's knowing where to relax, how to relax, when to relax. And we'll stay here a few more breaths. And we'll slowly come out of this twist, bringing your hips back to the floor. You might want to shift your hips a little bit to the left. Straighten the right leg, hook your left toes behind your right leg, and bring your left leg across. Finding a nice twist. So again here, think of twisting your upper body to the left and twisting your lower body to the right. So that's different than thinking of pulling your left shoulder to the floor and pushing your right knee to the floor. Think of it as coming from your core, finding that twist. And don't worry if your shoulder and your knee both aren't on the floor. You want to go for the sensation of this twisting and lengthening and relaxing, letting go. We'll stay here a few more breaths so that your body can take time to adjust and relax and feel safe in this twist. So if this twist is too much, you can always place that pillow or blanket underneath your top knee. You could unhook your leg, your toes. So find the position that just you intuitively know that this is the best place for you to be right now. And pull your left hip back to the floor to come back to center. Center yourself on your mat. And hug your knees into your chest. One last time so that this physical hugging reminds you, that it's a good idea to give yourself a hug throughout the day, at various times. Just a hug, like just appreciating who you are, your self-worth, your goodness, that you deserve to love and you deserve to be loved. And then stretch out for Savasana. Just let your legs stretch out, your shoulders relax. And focus on your exhalation, letting maybe your exhalation be a little longer than your inhale. And Savasana is a sweet, sweet surrender, letting go. So I'm going to stay here with you in this Savasana for another minute or so, but you're welcome to stay longer. I'm going to be silent and just let you be with your own feelings, your own sensations. Start to bring some movement into your fingers and into your toes. And stretch out in whatever way your body feels like doing, whatever feels good to you. And keeping your eyes closed, gently bend your knees and roll to your side and pause. And take time to appreciate yourself for taking time for this practice, for showing up, and just for being who you are. And slowly use your hands to press your way up to a comfortable seat with your eyes closed. Focus on your breath moving in and out. Breathing in, a calm body and mind. Breathing out, a smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know that this is the only moment. Please bring your hands together in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. I hope that you feel really good and just like having that sense of self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, knowing that you deserve it. I would love it if you would subscribe, check the notification bell if you haven't already, share this with your friends, and please leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you, love to know what you'd like to see in future videos. Have a great day. Bye for now.